momentum early and then didn't relinquish it at all. What did you see out there?
Yeah, look, ever since we focused on this game, we talked about the pace they play at. They do a great job of playing fast, and it's just not one guy creating that. They have multiple guys that can create that. So our urgency to get back and have some type of resistance is very important in the first 3 to 5 seconds in transitioning from offense to defense. And I want to say the difference at halftime was 16 or 18, and they had like 19 transition points. So we did not do a good job of that.
Does that concern you at all, knowing that your team knows where they are on the ladder, that urgency wasn't there?
What I would say is it's like we didn't have the required urgency, but we looked like we were a team that had been on the road for as long as we've been on the road for tonight.
How did you think Ty kind of settled into the group in his first outing?
Yeah, look, you can see once he gets comfortable with our group, he brings a little different dynamic to us, some playmaking ability. So it was good for him and for us to get him out there. So he gets that. We head home for a nice little home stretch. So, he's a pro, and we're not playing. We've played the best two teams the last two games. So it just reflects that we're just not quite on their level. We have patches where we're very good against the elite teams, but consistently they're just a little more consistent over the 40 minutes right now.
So in order to get to that level, presumably you want to do this season, do you think Ty helps you get to that level, or do you think there's still pieces missing or tweaks to be made?
Oh, look, it's going to evolve. Like, I think we forget, like, we were without Luke Travis tonight. So if he's in that game, he probably has some type of impact on the game. His length and athleticism as a secondary defender on Xavier Cooks, or just having his length out there to be disruptive in the passing lanes, rebounding and pushing and creating looks. Like, he brings that versatility, like Cooks does to their team. To say what he brings exactly in a game like that, I don't know, but I know he would have had a nice little impact for us.
Michael, we know how fast Sydney is, the fastest team in the league. How do you describe being out there when they're pushing the pace and getting at you guys, and how do you think you guys could improve if you went up against that sort of pace again?
Yeah, I just think they're like relentless, just like full 40 minutes. They're just getting after it, trying to run in transition. So there was patches where we did it well and we stopped them, but I just think we weren't as good over the 40 minutes as they were running the ball down. So I think it just could be consistency for us.
What's your mentality going into games like this, where you know that you might get spot minutes and you're going to have to shoot the ball every time you catch it? How do you enter games like this?
I just try and bring energy. So I know with guys like Bryce and Corey, not going to get a ton of shots. That's okay. I just try and bring energy and just try and do all the little things to try and make our team better. So however I can do that, I just try and do it.
What did you think about their defensive effort on Bryce? It seemed like they were pushing up on him and making it tough, getting the ball out of his hands. How did you see?
Yeah, look, your eyes are telling me the same thing. Mine were, like, they did a great job of putting two on the ball. And some team strategy, that's what it is. Let's get it out of his hands and see what the other guys can do. I felt like, in the first half especially, we did a nice job of hitting our bigs. But, we didn't capitalize on our opportunities. They did a great job of getting deflections, getting all the little loose balls, or we'd have a great defensive effort and, like, we get a deflection, but DJ hits a corner three. I always tell anyone, like, you create your own luck. And, like, they played with a great purpose and intent tonight, where we were a little hesitant. We were on the ropes very early.
Guarding Xavier Cooks is obviously something that you need to do if you want to win the league, and also guard those really talented, 4-5s.
Yeah.
How did you think you guys did against him? Because he obviously had a pretty good night, not just scoring but also distributing. Do you feel like you did an adequate job against him?
Look, this league is full of really good players, and especially in transition. And he got to play in transition, and he's an elite player in transition because he puts heat on you because he can get to the rim. But then his playmaking ability is, you know, one of the best in the league. So when he's playing downhill, it doesn't really matter who's trying to defend him. Like, and that's, you know, that's where we were talking about the Sydney Kings. If we can keep him out of transition, you give yourself a chance, and we didn't do that.
I was just going to ask you about Xavier going into a game because he's in great form. How did you prepare? This is sort of a question for both of you, but going up against a player like that, I don't know, how do you stop him?
Yeah, so like
Tayshaun
Thomas is really coming into his own, and you know his last month has been very good. It was a good challenge for him to see what the Xavier Cooks hype is about. You know, and like this is the first time we've played the Sydney Kings, so you can watch as much film, but until you play them, you don't understand the pace that they play with, or how good someone is, or how the nuances of how they play. So I think that was a good step for us. So Tayshaun understands that, because I think over the course of the remaining season, when we play them 2 more times, that's a great matchup. You know, so we'll move forward. I have the confidence in Tayshaun Thomas to do a great job. I felt like what we did too much is we allowed him to pick us apart on the passing. Like we were kind of, and you know, they did a great job of moving off the ball and creating spacing on the weak side, and Xavier's a great passer. So tonight I go, we learnt about the Sydney Kings, how fast they play, and we looked a very tired team that had been on the road for 5 games.
I saw plenty of results still from you guys. You're still having a crack. The place were having a go. So you must be pleased with, I suppose, the effort and the resolve, maybe just the execution.
Oh, look, when you talk about professional sport, if I got to ask them to compete and give an effort, like, you're not going to last very long in the business.
The Sydney Kings, they like to play a lot of ISO ball and get any shot they want. Was double teaming them at like the half court a way to try to slow them down at a stage in the game?
We're just trying to change up our defenses to be a little disruptive. To me, every time I looked up at the scoreboard, it was in that 14 to 18 range. So we had to try and do something. Last couple months, we've done a great job down the stretch of games, creating a tight finish when we've been in that vicinity down in a game. But look, they're the champions. I remember being at Darwin in the preseason blitz, and everyone's talking about everyone and who's the favourites. I said, Sydney Kings are the champions. So until someone beats them, they're the best team in the NBL. We played the best team. They kicked our butt. Plain and simple.
Matty McQuaid, you're up.
Oh, shit.
How did I know I was going to get that response from you? My goodness. Just one from me, mate, because I know you probably had enough tonight. But just the rebounding count, you're a -10 again. Look, I know people have harped on it, but is it, I guess, question, Ben Knight and I sort of had this question for you. I mean, is it a fixable thing? You've got those 6 home games left, which is obviously going to be key in where you go come playoff time, but is it fixable? And what adjustments do you kind of have to make at that in that space?
Yeah, I'll give you the same lame answer I give everyone else, is when you get into defensive rotations, when you're battling in transition, it's tough, especially when you're playing against a team that is just relentless with their effort. And, they have good athletes, they have good players that just are ruthless getting on the glass. Like, we can talk about Cooks, we can talk about Walton, but then Jordan Hunter goes, Quatnoy goes, Justin Simon, so, Angus Glover. So, they've got a nice complement of players to keep putting heat on you. And that's the way they play, that's their style, So it was a baptism by fire for the Perth Wildcats tonight.
All right, thanks, mate.
No worries.